In this video, we're going over every time Ash cheated in the Pokemon anime and putting them in a tier list. You have the IQ tier, the plot tier, the illegal tier, and I'll save the greatest secret tier for after I finish the main three. The battle between Lord Rowlet and Decidueye is a great example of what on paper looks like plot, but is rather Ash's insane battle IQ coupled with Rowlet's effective use of his costume. Although that costume may look like it's an illegal outside advantage, we have seen Pokemon in the anime wear cosmetics during battles, from mega necklaces like Alana's Charizard to Halucha's wrestler costume. Granted, this is probably overdoing the cosmetics, but none of the league refs said anything to revoke this. Rowlet receives this cape as a gift from Toucannon before the battle to help prepare him for Decidueye. Little did they know, this may have been the game changer of the whole match. During the beginning of the fight, Decidueye outright dodges Rowlet's Z-move, then proceeds to take this time to trap Rowlet so he can't fly away and unleash its own Z-move, which ends up directly hitting him.
Is it over already?
Or so we thought, because somehow Rowlet manages to flee from his costume just in time, or else he would have likely lost that battle right there and then. From here on out, Rowlet was heavily outclassed by Decidueye in speed and attack, but here's where the battle goes from being plot to actual skill as Rowlet learns to use his Feather Dance to effectively escape Decidueye's deadly trap attacks. Rowlet shortly after uses Brave Bird, Decidueye responds quickly with Sky Attack, they each suffer an immense amount of damage and fall onto the battlefield. Decidueye manages to get back up, but Rowlet is still face down. This leads into another super controversial moment where the referee gives the match to Hao, seeming as though he won the match, when in reality, Rowlet was just taking a deuce. Why does he decide to do that in mid-battle? Well, it's Rowlet. So they continue, and Ash's Rowlet manages to KO Hao's Decidueye since he fell for a decoy and got Brave Birded to oblivion. So was this just Ash's insane IQ plus skills, or was it plot? I'm thinking it's high IQ tier, only for the fact that even if Rowlet's costume didn't help him, he would have just used Feather Dance and still beat Decidueye. The only other thing I would put in this tier would be the counter shield method Dawn created for a contest back in Sinnoh. Dawn was able to use her Pokemon's offensive attacks in such a creative way to make the moves more pretty, but Ash saw this as a way to use offensive attacks to create both a defense and offense. This is where the counter shield is born. Weasel and Pikachu were the first to master this move, and in battle it was so effective Paul ended up copying this move for his own to use against Ash in the Sinnoh League. Even a whole 15 years later, Ash used the counter shield again in the Masters 8 versus Cynthia's Spiritomb, which then led to Leon copying it during his battle with Ash. So while this may just be a clever tactic and not cheating, I think it should be mentioned since it falls within the IQ category, and some might consider it a cheating tactic, as you can't do this in the games. Now moving up to the plot tier, we have Ash wielding Aura and being able to use the Bond phenomenon with Greninja. I've put both of these tiers together as they're very similar. Ash's Aura powers could straight up be in the illegal tier, but I think it more so has to do with plot. The reason being, if he didn't have Aura powers, he wouldn't have been able to summon Lucario and the Lucario in the Mystery of Mew movie. This was during a time when Ash was in the Hoenn region and Lucario hadn't even come out yet as it's a Sinnohmon. So they showed him off early in order to hype Sinnoh up, so of course the writers just wrote Ash with insane Aura powers. Outside of the movie, he mainly used Aura with Riolu from the Hunter J arc in order to communicate with Riolu, as well as when he received a Riolu egg in Pokemon Journeys that he ended up catching and eventually evolving it into a Lucario. Because his Aura powers were so strong, they were quickly able to learn Mega Evolution and become one of the strongest Lucarios ever to exist in the anime, being able to take down Cynthia's Garchomp. However, the Bond phenomenon is basically Aura 2.0, except only Ash can do the transformation into Ash Greninja, and one other trainer from 1,000 years ago in the Ninja Village. If you don't know what an Ash Greninja is, it's basically where Ash's bond with his special Greninja is so strong they fuse together and become one, where every time Greninja takes damage, Ash also takes damage. It's a very cool and unique concept, but it's basically the writers giving him a major advantage that no one else besides him can have. Since we're on the topic of the writers giving Ash major advantages, let's talk about the OG time Ash cheated in his first ever gym battle against Brock the Almighty. After losing to Brock's broken Onix, Pikachu powers up his electricity in the hopes of overcharging Onix with a Thunderbolt. Yeah, Onix is a ground and rock type last time I checked, so I'm not sure if that's gonna work. It turned out I was right, it didn't work, and Pikachu basically loses a second time. However, not before his bolts cause a fire that trigger the water sprinklers to go off, making it pour down on Onix, whose weakness is water. Ash, knowing this, decided to take advantage of this situation by telling Pikachu to finish the job by shocking it while it's weak. Or so he thought, until Brock's siblings decided otherwise. Did Ash cheat? Maybe. Was it for the plot? Yeah. But this is nothing once you hear about when Ash got to use Mega Evolution, Gigantamax, Dynamax, and Z moves all in one battle. Ash finally made it to the top #1 trainer in the world, Leon, and the first thing the Pokemon writers give Ash is insane plot armor. Leon tells him,
Dynamax, Z moves, and Mega Evolution! I want to battle against all of them!
but the truth is, you can't do that. Even if this is the anime, there's no way anyone would allow you.
Yes? I see. The officials in charge of the World Coronation Series have agreed to Leon's suggestion.
He basically got a free pass to win. And spoiler alert, Ash does defeat Leon with Gigantamax Gengar, Mega Lucario, Z-Move Pikachu, and Dynamax Pikachu. This has got to be 100% one of Ash's biggest cheating scandals ever in the anime, and almost in the illegal tier, yet he didn't technically break the rules since they allowed it. Still, it's not fair. Now we're on to the next tier, the time where Ash hacked the Pokemon anime with illegal practices for no particular reason when he called Snorlax in to use 6 moves in a single match. This was when Ash went head-to-head with the Frontier Brain Greta in a 2-on-2 battle. As Grovyle gets taken down by Hariyama, Snorlax is tasked to defeat 2 fighting types. And even though those 2 fighting types have a super effective advantage over him, Snorlax is no normal Snorlax. He's on par with Charizard and Fernape on levels of good, and apparently he was so good, he was able to learn 6 moves. If you for whatever reason don't know, a Pokemon legally can use only 4 moves at once. Snorlax uses Headbutt, Protect, Ice Punch, Hyper Beam, Rest, and Body Slam. Ash ends up winning due to being able to rest and spam moves that fit the accounted situation perfectly. If this isn't cheating, I don't know what is. The next illegal thing Ash did was get possessed by an evil spirit and battle Brandon. Yeah, this one sounds crazy, because it is. Ash and the gang find themselves in a mysterious ancient underground passageway where Ash triggers a trap that sends him on the run towards Frontier leader Brandon, who sends out his Regirock to break the rock. After Brandon tells him that they shouldn't be down here messing with things, Ash doesn't take the hint and runs off, wanting to see if he can battle Hoa. He stumbles upon a throne room with a weird, almost Pokeball looking object, so he picks it up hoping Hoa is inside. But what actually is inside is dark energy that consumes his whole body, possessing him into an ancient king who wants to rule the world. Brandon steps in to challenge Ash and the evil spirit to battle at the battle pyramid, and here's where the cheating really goes down. Not only is he being almost completely controlled in this battle, but he commands Sceptile to break the ceiling so it can collapse down on Regirock, which, if you didn't know, that's an illegal tactic. And when that fails, he commands Sceptile to hide behind the referee, stopping Regirock from attacking. Ultimately, Ash does end up snapping out of the possession thanks to his friends, but not without deserving some jail time. The Pokemon universe is nice though, and Ash only comes off with minor felonies. I'm kidding, nothing happened. Yet still, this was pretty insane not to mention. Cause even if you said Ash wasn't the one battling, he still was to blame for releasing the dark energy to begin with. Unintentional or not, he cheated. Something that was intentional was when Ash fought Blaine's Rhydon and sent out his Pikachu to aim for the horn, which, yeah, this one's a classic Ash hacking moment. Going against the laws of the Pokemon universe entirely by beating a ground type with an electric type attack because it went for the horn, which apparently means it can bypass its typing for it to do damage. I mean, Pikachu really just one-shotted a Rhydon with a Thunderbolt. Like, this battle lasted maybe 20 seconds. Ash is not escaping the cheating allegations anytime soon. Especially, and the other time Pikachu and Ash cheated, to make a new move into existence called Thunder Armor, which is probably one of the most overpowered mechanics he ever used. This took place during his battle with gym leaders from the Moss Deep Gym, where they had a Solrock and Lunatone versus Pikachu and Swellow. Solrock and Lunatone had way better defense with Light Screen and attack with Solar Beam that led to Ash being backed into a corner where he had no other option but to think of a new tactic to bypass their defense. So Ash, being the maniac that he is, decided Pikachu should use Thunder towards the clouds instead of his opponents, and as the Thunder comes back, it electrifies both Pikachu and Swellow, who's a flying type mind you, but instead of Ash killing his own Pokemon, it only made them even stronger? huh? And now they have enough power to break through Solar Beam and Light Screen head on, ramming through all of that to take out Solrock and Lunatone in one shot. I don't know what kind of crazy hack he installed on his journey, but what even in the world allowed him to pull that stuff off? This is almost like when Zekrom came down to nerf Ash in Black and White, but instead here, he gets a power-up. There's a good argument to be made here for this being the greatest cheat Ash ever used. Which reminds me, what was that secret tier I was hiding from the beginning of this video? Well, it's called the Broken Tier, and the one going straight into the Broken Tier is Ash breaking the laws of physics by holding a Cosmome which weighs only 2,204 pounds, or 1,000 kilos. The crazy part is, he's not even struggling. And don't just say this was a one-time thing, since in the original series, he stuffed a Larvitar in his backpack, where we see him just walk around casually with 160 pounds or 72 kilos, and sure, you know that's possible, but not for a 10-year-old who effortlessly holds these guys like it's nothing.
We've done all we can do, right, Magikarp? Victory is ours!
However, I think the most broken out of them all is Ash being insanely durable, sometimes even more durable than his Pokemon. Throughout the series, he constantly eats thunderbolts, flamethrowers, tackles, explosions, and even multiple hyper powerful attacks all at once. And if he was a Pokemon after all those, he'd be knocked out. Yet somehow, Ash is even more durable than that, coming back from near-death moments being completely unscathed every time. And if that sounds interesting to you, you should check out the video where I go over Ash's deaths tier list. I never thought I'd say those words, but here we are. Yes, that's a real video. Here it is on screen, check it out if you like, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye!